Let's go to AUSMIN. In the pandemic, very difficult to travel. Shows how seriously Australia took this meeting for Marise, Payne and Reynolds to go there. There's a new agreement that we're yet to see about force posture in the Indo-Pacific. What do you make of all this?
Well, I think this is an important symbol, and it might also have very real practical effect of symbol of reinforcing the American network of alliances in the Indo-Pacific. I've always said there needs to be an appropriate balance of power in the Indo-Pacific. We don't want a policy of containment of China, but we want to know that China cannot just dominate the region. And to stop that happening, the Americans have to be fully engaged in the region, and we've got to work to keep the Americans fully engaged. And I think the fact that the two ministers have gone over there to AUSMIN at this difficult travel time, and they've signed up to as you say, we haven't seen the agreement, but they've signed up to an agreement. They have reinforced America's role in the region. I think it's very good. I mean, it won't be appreciated in China. I understand that, but it will send a message to China. Yes, you can bully Australia because it's smaller than China. You can be rude. Your ambassador can denigrate our Prime Minister and our ministers. You can threaten our trade. But don't underestimate Australia. It has a great ally in the United States, and it has a network of very close friends in the Indo-Pacific region. And all China has been doing is creating these circumstances, creating the atmosphere of this meeting in the US, this AUSMIN meeting, by being so highly provocative over the last 2 or 3 years.
Now, there are reports that this agreement will focus quite heavily on Darwin as a defence and security centre in the region, which of course does make a bit of sense, but we'll wait and find out more. I'm interested in your thoughts about the risks of Australian vessels getting involved in so-called freedom of navigation operations in the South China Sea. Could you tell us why we would support that in principle, I suppose, but what the risks would be? We've got about 1 minute left on the show.
Well, it depends where you go. Australia has been involved in freedom of navigation exercises, and we should be. But to go within 12 miles of the Chinese claimed islands without doing so with the US would be risky, because the Chinese would be prepared to attack us in ways they would never attack the United States. So that's the reason why we haven't done that. And Malcolm Turnbull once asked me my advice on whether we should or we shouldn't, and I said no, we should only do those sorts of things with the Americans, not alone. That was his view, and since then we haven't been involved in exercises within the 12 miles of those contested islands. We
would never rule it out publicly, though. We would leave this ambiguous?
Yes, exactly. You're quite right. And there might be circumstances where we would do it. As I just said, we might do it with the Americans, because I don't think in the end the Chinese are going to take on the American Navy. But they might, try to stop one of our ships. They might.
Alexander Downer, good to talk to you again. Catch up soon.
A pleasure.